Hello guys, so I'm back. Okay, so in today's video we'll be studying about the objective of studying literary theory. Okay, why do we exactly study literary theory? What are the reasons? What are the significant rules that are there? Okay, while studying literary theory. So these are the things that we'll be studying in today's video. So just stay tuned with me so that you understand each and everything that I'm saying here. All right. So first thing first, why do we study literary theory? The first thing is so that we can understand, okay, how and why we interpret a literary text using theories, okay, the way we do. That is one. Second is we try to use literary theory so that we can reveal the assumptions that we make, okay, before judging a book or basically towards judging a literary text, okay. Third is we use literary theory so that we can turn or transform the unconscious ideas, okay, of a text or the unconscious ideas which we refer, the most important we refer them as dead theories, okay, into life theories, okay, or basically conscious awareness or conscious ideas and principles towards a literary text. So these are some of the simple way to begin with while understanding the object of studying literary theory, okay. So in other words, literary theory unveils, okay, the hidden ideas that are there in relation to belief, truth, okay, or understanding, okay, of a particular system or of a particular aspect of society with respect to the text that is there, okay. Which means literary theories, okay, make us question our own approaches, our own perspective and opinions towards something, okay. And here it is a literary text, okay. So in short, literary theory encourages critical thinking. It encourages clarity and understanding of difficult or probably the ideas that are very complex to understand, okay. So literary theory makes it clearer to us so that we can interpret a text in such a way that can be acceptable in society, because literature, when it comes to literature is somehow never defined completely, okay, because for different contexts, for different settings, for different timelines, literature is different, okay, because it's somehow I bring here again uh, a theorist, okay, David Carter, who says that literature is nothing but an agreement. Okay, it's an agreement between the writer, the publisher, again the readers, okay, and also the critical theorists. Because he says that for a literary text to be considered as a literary text, it needs some steps to be followed. First, the writer writes it, then he goes to, or he or she goes to the publisher. The publisher publishes it. Okay, if it is worthy of publishing, okay, then after that the readers buy it, okay, the readers buy it, and then reading the text they decide whether it is good or bad, okay, and then the critics, okay, they kind of pass their judgments on it, okay, and if it is thought to be a good piece of literature, then it is shelved, okay, and if not, then it is not kind of read, or probably it is discarded. So it's kind of an agreement between all these steps, okay. So that's why literature is very complex to be understood, okay, to be very honest, okay. Like no theorist has so far defined literature in a single, or probably in a very defining manner, okay, understood. So that's why when we say literary theories make us understand or basically question our approaches towards the literary text based on the society, based on the beliefs, based on the cultures of that timeline or of that period, understood. And in turn, it also encourages us for clarity, for understanding, and for critical thinking. Okay, basically, it encourages and entertains critical thinking towards a literary text, given the complexity of literary works or literariness of a literary piece of work. Now, you might be kind of in very kind of question, okay, or basically confusion, that why am I bringing literariness or literature here? Because it's very important to understand what is literature before understanding the object of studying literary theory. Because literature has no fixed definition, okay, it keeps on changing based on the societies, based on the timeline, based on the social contexts, okay, and somehow or the other histories have a lot to do in defining literature. So in other words, we can say that literature kind of see a society decides what is literature and what is not. Okay, now very ironical, it's very ironical, but then the society decides what is literature and what is not. Understand? And literary theory helps, okay, in avoiding misjudgments, okay, or misconceptions towards a literary text. So it is important to study literary theory so that you can understand the main intentions of a literary text and not the intentions of the author. Okay, that is what you need to understand here. Understood? To continue from there, literature has a deep connection with human nature, right? And to study literary theory, it is also important to study the connection between literature and human beings, because all in all, literature reflects human behavior, human emotions, human feelings, human life, right? Overall human life, which means we study, in a broader sense, we study the cultural setting, or basically the cultural realities, okay, of a society. Okay, because if you see Marxism, if you see psychoanalysis, if you see psychology, okay, they all study human behavior, right? So, and they are literary theories, they are literary theories. And as I said just a few minutes ago, that literature, or sorry, literary theory helps avoid a lot of misconceptions towards a literary text, because if there are no literary theories, then the arguments, the interpretations towards a text or anything, okay, would become wild and very unsupported. Okay, so we need literary theories so that we can be arguably, we can be valid. Okay, definitely, again, to be very frank, validity is a very complex matter, but still we read literary theory so that our interpretations, okay, do not go wild, okay, and unsupported. Clear? Because human beings have a tendency of overgeneralization, right? Of basically overgeneralizing things. So literary theory helps us avoid that. Okay, it helps us avoid overgeneralizations, because it's very complicated when you generalize something. For example, you cannot judge a society based on one single human being, right? So literary theory teaches you that. It trains you not to overgeneralize something. Okay. Not to forget, there is another point that you need to remember, and that is like that has to do with interpretations. So interpretations, there are theories called hermeneutics of interpretation. Kindly read hermeneutics of interpretation. What is it and how does it function when it comes to literary theory? I'm not going into that right now. Okay, now interpretations are never final. Okay, because every reading has different interpretations. Okay, I may read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte in using a perspective that is not known to you, or probably you do not support that. Okay, you may interpret it in a different dimension, okay, or from different dimension. So how many, sorry, interpretations vary, okay, they change with every reading. Okay, there is one theorist which you find the name of the theorist. Okay, he says that every decoding is another form of encoding, which means every meaning has different meanings. Okay, here I'd like to mention a bit of post-structuralism. Okay, which means deconstruction. Okay, which kind of comments on the fact that every meaning has different meanings, which means you give a meaning to a word, then that same meaning has different other meanings. Understood? I'll just give a quick example. Okay, for example, when I say uh, um, lion, okay, so we mean the king of the jungle, right? When I say probably lion, you kind of feel that okay, it is king. But when I say king, probably somebody else is thinking like the monarchy, okay, the royalist. Okay, so it keeps on changing. There is no fixed meaning. Okay, and that is actually talked about by deconstruction. Okay, the theory deconstruction. So I'm not going to that right now, because I'm just talking about the object of the study right now here. Okay, so overall, in short, if I have to define what is exactly the object of studying literary theory, then those are like to understand how meaning is produced, not just what is produced. Understood? How meaning is produced, that is one. And most importantly, to deepen our understanding of literature. Okay, to deepen our understanding of literature and the society around it, or basically society around us. Understood? So I hope it is clear to you. I'll be coming up with another video with some more information, and probably with a particular theory, literary theory. Okay, thank you so much for watching.